What if the hunt was silent, not from strategy, but from isolation? What if no shouts rallied the chase, no hands shared the kill, no eyes scanned the plains together? In a world frozen by the Ice Age, could a lone hunter survive where unity was meant to be the only weapon? Witness the cost of solitude in a land built for tribes, not individuals. The cold arrived before the sun. Frost gripped the blades of tall grass, cracking softly beneath each footfall. Alone, a male Australopithecus afarensis crouched low near a shallow stream, his fur thin for the chill, his body lean from too many empty dawns. He was stalking a young Metridaeoquerus, a prehistoric pig separated from its herd in the mist. The hunter's grip tightened around a sharpened bone shard, his breath shallow, his eyes locked forward. He moved. A rush, a snap. But without distraction or flanking support, the pig twisted sharply and bolted. The bone shard grazed air, the prey vanished into the underbrush. Silence returned not as triumph, but as failure. The hunter stood still for a long time, shoulders rising and falling, not from effort, but from the weight of knowing he would return to his rocky overhang with nothing. Again. Elsewhere, a rival scene unfolded. Across the savanna, a trio of saber-toothed cats prowled the edge of a dried riverbed. Their eyes tracked a scent, faint but promising. The lone scent of an isolated mammal. Vulnerable. Predictable. The scent of the same Australopithecus male. As he dragged his feet toward the cliff, where he kept his half-picked scavenged remains, the wind shifted. He froze. Ears twitched. The silence deepened. No alarm cries. No calls of warning. Because no one was there to see them coming. And then, a blur. The first cat lunged from a rock outcrop, its weight cracking a dry branch. The hunter darted sideways, scrambling up a narrow slope. His hand reached for a jagged rock, slicing his palm. Another cat circled below. The third blocked the only escape path. Cornered, bleeding, alone. He screamed not from fear but instinct, a sound that once might have rallied a clan. But in this reality, there were no ears to hear him. Then, movement. Not feline, not prey. A second Australopithecus female, older, carrying a bundle of leaves and roots. She had been gathering by the river unseen, and in a flicker of memory, she remembered how the clan once moved together, how cries meant run or fight or help. She threw her bundle to the ground, grabbed a thick stick hardened by fire, screamed louder than him, waved wildly. The cats paused, calculating. From the bluff, the male saw her just one figure. Not a group, but something shifted. Two was not one. Two was riskier. The cats growled uncertain. One turned, then another. Finally, the third slinked back into the tall grass. The female stood panting, her stick shaking her face unreadable. The male stumbled down the hill, eyes wide. Not in gratitude, but disbelief. This was no plan, no tribe, just chance. And still, it had saved his life. That night, they shared the roots she carried. No fire, no speech, only breath, and the rhythmic beat of survival echoing under the stars. At dawn, the savanna shimmered beneath a veil of mist. The frost had melted into dew, and the sun unveiled the scars of the previous night tracks torn into the dirt. Blood dried near the stones and the silent imprint of fear. But beside it, something new. Two sets of footprints where once there had only been one. The male and female, though strangers, now moved in proximity. Not quite a pair, not yet a group. But proximity was the beginning of something. They walked without words, guided by instinct and distance. She kept her foraging satchel of leaves tied by twisted bark slung across her shoulder. He followed loosely, watching how she pressed her feet into the softer patches of earth, how she sniffed certain shrubs and avoided others. Observation became mimicry. Not cooperation. Not yet. But learning. Midday brought danger again. From the trees above the sudden screech of a Denophelis, a stealthy ambush predator with dagger-like fangs broke the stillness. It launched downward, swift as a stone in free fall. The male dove aside, but the female stumbled. The cat pounced. A cloud of dust and panic erupted. But now, something different. The male did not run. He grabbed a thick branch fallen nearby and charged, screaming, swinging, not to kill, but to confuse. The predator hesitated just long enough for the female to scramble away. Together, they retreated into a thicket of thorn brush, their limbs scratched, but their bodies intact. From the shadows, the Denophelis glared, but would not follow. Too large, too exposed, too uncertain. Later, beneath the gnarled roots of a fallen tree, the female tore a strip from a fibrous leaf and wrapped the male's bleeding forearm. He winced, but did not pull away. She smeared a yellow sap over the wound, its smell bitter, its sting sharp. But he endured. This time he offered something in return. A half-buried stash of larval grubs dug up near a termite mound. Protein. She hesitated, then accepted. 2 acts of survival. 2 shared moments. And for the first time, intention replaced coincidence. But the Ice Age was not kind to such fragile beginnings. As night fell again, the wind changed. It came howling from the mountains, carrying with it a storm not of rain, but snow. Unseasonal, furious, blinding. The first flakes bit into skin like ash. The temperature plummeted. The shelter of roots was no longer enough. They would not survive this cold alone. They moved quickly toward a cliffside she once passed weeks ago, where caves split the rock. The wind screamed through the grass like a predator hunting sound, their legs numbed, teeth chattered. But no words passed between them, just shared urgency. And then a shape in the distance, firelight flickering behind a wall of stone. A third figure appeared, old hunched hair matted with frost. A male suspicious clutching a rock blade. Behind him, 2 juveniles peeked from the fire's edge, eyes wide. Another lone survivor. Or so it had been. Now there were 5. The storm raged outside, but within the cave, bodies huddled close. Heat returned not just from fire, but from each other. This was how tribes began. By morning, the snow had slowed, leaving a white crust across the savanna that cracked beneath every step. But inside the cave, warmth pulsed like a heartbeat. The 5 did not speak, but breath-synchronized shoulders, brushed hands, passed dried roots and embers. Beneath the stone ceiling, something prehistoric was forming, not a family, not yet a tribe, but the shadow of what would one day become community. That day the storm broke fully. The sun revealed a world changed, frozen, blinding, and cruel. Food would be scarce now. The older male grunted and pointed toward the plains where Megalopteros, the giant deer, once grazed. He mimed a stab, a chase. But the younger ones only watched in silence. Then the 2 newcomers, the male and female, stood. The female tied strips of bark to her forearms, readying her grip. The male chipped his bone shard sharper against the wall. Their eyes met. There would be no commands. Only movement. They stepped onto the ice-glazed earth together, advancing toward the deer trails like silent ghosts, Their feet broke no branches. Their eyes tracked wind. The old man followed, and hesitantly the juveniles too. The herd was scattered near the ravine, skittish, thin, but alive. Without a coordinated flank, any attempt would fail. But then the young male from the cave, barely more than a boy, darted across a low ridge mimicking a predator's call. Not perfect, but close enough. The deer panicked, bolting away from him and directly toward the others. The older male roared. The female rushed forward, stick raised. The newcomer male lunged from cover blade forward. In the tangle of legs and mud and snow impact, when it ended, one deer lay still, bleeding, breathing faintly. The group stood in awe, because none had done it alone. Not one of them could have. Blood smeared their hands, their torsos, not from violence, but victory. A victory shared. That night, the cave was louder, not with voices, but with the crackle of fire, the crunch of marrow bones, the hum of chewing, and the sudden soft laugh from a child mimicking the hunt. The old man let it pass. He didn't hush him. Not this time. The female laid the deer's hide across the stones. The male hung its sinew to dry. The juveniles arranged sharp bones into crude tools. Tasks split, but not divided. No one ordered it. It simply happened. Outside, the cold returned, but the cave held its warmth. From 5 would come 10, from 10 a clan, and from that language, memory, tradition. All born not from strength, not even from intelligence, but from cooperation. Had they stayed alone, they would have died alone. But by coming together not as kin, but as witnesses to each other's struggle, they became the first sparks of what we now call society. Not every story from this age ends in extinction. Some end in a fire shared between strangers. And in that fire, the first story was born.